Singapore built its world's first bubbles facility so people can travel for business without having to quarantine, and it's in an expo center. We got a sneak peek of the rooms, facilities, and food. Hey everyone, this is Venomnus, and this is Singapore's non-quarantine hotel. It's a bubble hotel. Check this out. As the world rolls out COVID-19 vaccines and international travel remains largely grounded, Singapore has opened up what it says is the world's first bubble facility for non-quarantining business travelers. The facility, called Connect at Changi, will allow business travelers to bypass the city-state's mandatory 14-day quarantine as long as they don't leave the facility. Inside, guests will stay in hotel-like rooms, have meals delivered to a cubbyhole outside their door, and conduct in-person business meetings with Singaporeans and professionals from around the world in rooms with airtight glass panels and separate ventilation systems. Without such a facility, travel options are essentially binary. Either stay at home due to travel restrictions or fly overseas and endure long periods in quarantine. Robin Hu, head of international policy at Temasek and chairman of SingX Sphere Holdings, two of the project's developers, said in a press release. The facility offers business travelers the option of resuming in-person meetings in a safe and contained manner, while also boosting Singapore's economic recovery, he said. The 780,000 square foot facility opened this week with 150 guest rooms and 40 meeting rooms, but it plans to be able to host 1,300 travelers by the end of the year. Room rates start at 384 Singapore dollars, or about 287, which is based on a minimum 24-hour stay and includes meals and COVID-19 tests. Earlier this week, I got a sneak peek of Connect at Changi just before the first guests arrived. Here's what travelers can expect from the world's first business travel bubble facility. Wow. A big creepy hangar. The Connect facility was built inside the Singapore Expo Convention and Exhibition Center, a roughly 1 million square foot complex near Changi Airport that's typically used for live concerts, conferences, and exhibitions. In the pandemic, none of those events have been happening, leaving the Expo Center sitting empty. Last spring, it was temporarily converted into a facility for patients recovering from COVID-19. In December, the Singapore government-owned investment company, Temasek, announced it was teaming up with a group of Singapore companies including Changi Airport Group and Shears Healthcare Group to open what they say is the world's first bubble facility. Bubble City's next. For non-quarantining business travelers. The first phase of construction was finished in about 14 weeks. 114 weeks, I wanted to say. Alright. To stay at the facility, travelers must apply on the Connect website and await approval. Connect will coordinate with the Singapore government to approve the special visa for business travelers. Right now, travelers coming from any country can apply, with the exception of those coming from the UK and South Africa, because screw them. But approval is not guaranteed. Singapore will consider factors including the COVID-19 status of the travelers, country, and the departure country of those travelers staying at the facility at the same time, a publicist said. They may be able to skip a 2-week quarantine, but those who stay at Connect should prepare their nostrils for multiple COVID-19 PCR tests. Oh, joy! Get your nostrils ready. Better start lubing them up for the freaking big swab, man. That's insane. Get your nostrils ready. Wow, that should be like the slogan. Connect Changi, was it? Bubble Hotel. Get your nostrils ready. Before leaving for Singapore, guests must take a COVID-19 PCR test in their country of departure within 42 hours of their flight. Once they arrive at the airport in Singapore, they'll be tested again. And while staying at the Connect Changi facility, guests will be required to undergo additional PCR testing at this on-site testing center on days 3, 7, and 14 of their stay. That means that a 5-day stay would require a total of 3 COVID-19 PCR tests. Wow. No kidding. Get your nostrils ready. That doesn't even make any sense. Because with the PCR test, if you get like a test, if you test positive, you shouldn't. You're not supposed to get tested again for another 90 days. Because what was it? The positivity thing will stay positive for up to that time, like 3 months or whatever. I don't know. It sounds ridiculous that they would test them so much. And with a PCR, no less. It doesn't make any sense to me. After travelers land in Singapore and get their first PCR test at the Changi airport, a shuttle will transport them to the airside entrance of, God, they like to write this name, Connect at Changi, which is reserved for international arrivals to the facility and staff. And I just realized it's your 33 there. C at C. The center is a 5-minute drive from the airport. How convenient. Once they've checked in at reception, guests will be shown directly to their rooms, where they must remain until they get the results of their arrival COVID-19 PCR test. Joy. So welcoming. The facility currently has 150 guest rooms open, but 660, you just couldn't have fit that other 6 in there, could you? You're so close. 660 rooms are expected to be open when the first phase is completed in May. When Connect at Changi, or Changi, I hope I'm saying it right, I don't know, is fully completed later this year, it will have the capacity to accommodate roughly 1,300 business travelers at a time, according to press materials. Due to the uncertainty of the pandemic, project developers don't know how long the facility will be open. A publicist told me, but once it's no longer needed, it will be demolished and the expo center will return to its former operations. Yeah, right. When a traveler first arrives, their room number will be illuminated red to indicate the traveler is awaiting the results of their PCR test. Oh my god. Sounds like a freaking nightmare. Ugh. The guests will receive their test results via text message in about 6 to 12 hours, after which the traveler is allowed to leave their room, a publicist told me. If the test comes back positive, the traveler will immediately be transported to a medical facility in Singapore, and the Connect at Changi will follow all of the Ministry of Health's contact tracing and testing protocols. During their stay at Connect at Changi, guests will use a free mobile app to do everything from booking meeting rooms to choosing their meals and reserving a workout in a gym pod. Oh man. I bet there's probably people out there super excited for this. The facility has 3 types of rooms: an executive twin room with 2 twin-size beds, an executive king room with 1 king-size bed, and a premier king with a king-size bed and the added perk of a view of the indoor courtyard. Oh joy, an indoor courtyard. Oh man. It's a prison. How did they not see this? While the king-size rooms are typically meant for one person, a married couple would be allowed to share a room if they were both traveling to Singapore for business purposes. None of the rooms, regardless of its size, has a window to true outdoors. All windows look into the expo center. Man. Oh, man, it's crazy. The guest rooms are smaller than a typical hotel room, but seem to be outfitted with everything necessary for a short stay. Before the pandemic, most business travelers to Singapore stay for under 5 days. So Connect at Changi expects most visitors to the facility to stay for a similarly short duration. In the Premier King room, the bed takes up most of the space. Yeah, I'd say so. Because, prison cells don't really have a lot of room. But there's also a desk and a 43-inch wall-mounted TV. Ah, luxury. Phones in each room allow travelers to make free local calls. The bathrooms have no bathtubs. Toiletries are provided in the shower. There is also a mini fridge, kettle, and microwave. Each room also has its own thermostat, so travelers can adjust the temperature to their comfort. No small benefit in Singapore, where the weather is hot and humid, but the air conditioning can be aggressive. On the bedside table is a pop of greenery in the form of a live plant with ionizing technology that claims to clean airborne pollutants and reduce anxiety and lethargy. Weird. Merging a plant with machine there. Transhumanist plant there. The Premier King rooms. Fly. Little freaking twerp. The Premier King. The Premier King rooms overlook the courtyards where live plants are mixed with glowing optical fiber lights designed to resemble fields of lalang, a type of grass native to the region. Despite the careful details, however, there's no disguising that this is still in the middle of an expo center. Well, yeah. The nightly rate at Connect at Changi includes 3 meals per day delivered to the guest room. For a contactless delivery, the food is left in a cubbyhole right outside the door. Guests can also order food from any of the hundreds of restaurants at Changi Airport through the mobile app or through local delivery apps like Food Panda or Grab. Travelers can choose from a menu of Asian and international food, as well as vegetarian options. Below is one of the typical lunch options, a hawker-style Ocean King prawn with kangkong vegetables. One of the project's partners, SingX, which runs the Expo Center, will provide the meals. In the facility's common areas, travelers are allowed to mingle with other guests while maintaining social distancing and wearing masks. In between, PCR tests, no doubt. An executive from Germany, for example, could meet with their colleague from Switzerland and work together at the table above. Wait, what table? That table? Okay. The facility's 2 courtyards were designed to resemble tropical outdoor spaces in line with Singapore's City in a Garden nickname. The floor is carpeted with artificial grass, but the greenery surrounding the courtyard is real. Imagine, this is going to be like the future of towns, right? We'll just have communities. Imagine communities in giant hangars. Then they wouldn't ever have to worry about the climate change because they'd be indoors. 2 dome-shaped pavilions serve as additional workspaces. Free Wi-Fi is available throughout all the common areas, meeting rooms, and guest rooms. A posted sign indicates that 30 people can be in each courtyard at a time. Just like in prison. In the courtyard and throughout the rest of the facility, other signs travelers to maintain a distance of 1 meter from other people. Each courtyard has a gym pod, which travelers can reserve for a private workout. Wow. Gym pod. Up to 2 people can work out in the gym pod at a time. Guests reserve the pod via the Connect at Changi app and scan a QR code to unlock the door. Those QR codes oh man, I gotta show you something after this. Actually, I'll show you now while I'm on it so I don't forget. Hold on a sec. Oh shoot, there we go. Oh, what was I doing? There it is. The Economist, the world in 2019. Now, I believe that this wasn't meant for 2019 at all. This was showing 2020, 2021, the future ahead. And what do we see in the hand over here? QR code. Along with many other things. You have your Me Too. Look at that. Our DNA altered. There's the pangolin that they first were saying was a possible source of COVID. We got China and Trump angry at each other. Beyond Brexit. We got the stork, the DNA, or not the DNA, the barcode, barcoded human. Interesting, you can actually see the number on there. And then you got your 4 horsemen of apocalypse, and what is on this? Looks like Lady Liberty with a face mask on. And the rest is history. You got electric cars, scales of justice, which what they're trying to push the equity thing, the whole Black Lives Matter, etc., etc. Then you got your facial recognition. Here's a volcano, which I expect will have a part in the future. There was something happening in Italy the other day. Eti, the town of Eti, they have a huge volcano. It was having some activity there just recently. Here's this one I find interesting. Not that, because I don't really know. Mona Angelina, so Mona Lisa, but Angelina. I think that has to do with the coming migrant crisis that we'll see from the food crisis. We'll have a mass migration greater than the one in 2016. It'll make that one look like nothing. Anyways, that I don't want to get off track here, so I'll get back to the article. All right. Inside there's a treadmill, a cycling machine, a bench press machine, and free weights. Each courtyard also has vending machines and a Starbucks coffee station. The key component of the facility is, of course, the business center. Connect at Changi expects business travelers to use the facility for things like meeting a job candidate in person before hiring them or signing legal documents. The facility opened with 40 meeting rooms of varying sizes, but Connect at Changi expects to have a total of 170 meeting rooms open by May. Notably, none of the meeting rooms has a window. Guests can book meeting rooms through the mobile app for additional costs of between roughly $15 and $150 per hour, depending on the size of the room. The small size room, which accommodates up to 4 guests, is $15 per hour to book. The room is available only to guests staying in the facility, not outside visitors. In the meeting rooms that are designed to host outside visitors who are meeting with Connect at Changi guests, the two groups will be separated by an airtight glass panel, and each side of the room has its own separate ventilation system. It's insane. Kind of reminds me of those almost like those interrogation rooms with the glass divider, except you can see through this one. The microphone system allows the two groups to hear each other through the glass. Oh yeah, just like when you call someone when you're visiting someone in prison and you have to use the phone. Man, they just gussied up a prison basically. This made it a bit more friendly, but it's the same frickin' thing. Oh man. The largest meeting rooms available is a boardroom with a video conferencing setup that can host up to 11 people on each side. If they want to conduct a lunch meeting, travelers can arrange for meals to be sent to the meeting room. When not eating or drinking, however, both guests and visitors are required to keep their mask on at all times. Of course. The boardroom also includes a UV sanitizing document transfer box so that two groups can pass documents back and forth. Wow, where did we see this? Hold on a sec. There we go. So, this is a scene from the movie Songbird that came out last year. Fastest movie ever made, I'd say. In the movie, they use these things, the UV box that you can see in the right corner there. That is a UV box, and it's used to decontaminate anything that you want to pass through. In this movie, it's in everyone's home, everywhere. So, yeah, you can expect that to be your future there. All right, so the bubble facility has its own on-site COVID-19 testing center where all travelers are tested on the 3rd, 7th, and 14th days of their stay. So they still quarantine for 14 days. It's just in this facility. Staff is regularly tested as well. There's a small socially distanced waiting area. And 2 testing stations. Once travelers arrive, the facility's cleaning staff will wear full PPE. For safety reasons, there will be no in-room housekeeping throughout a guest stay, although guests can request extra towels. Visitors based in Singapore are not required to undergo COVID-19 testing before coming to meet with a guest at the facility, as they will have separate entrances, exits, and ventilation systems. That sea is very reminiscent of the Gremlins 2 movie. The heck it was called? The corporation that owned broadcasting had pretty much the same sea. That's just, has nothing to do with anything. It's just, that's what it looks like. The travelers staying in the facility are responsible for booking meeting rooms and inviting any colleagues from the Singapore side. Connect at Changi is purposely not being called a hotel, partially because it's a prison. And that's not what it is, but also to manage expectations, a publicist told me. When a traveler hears hotel, they expect a cocktail bar and a pool and, freedom. But this is not a freedom. This is a prison. That's certainly not what travelers will find at Connect at Changi, but they will find what appears to be an efficient COVID-free prison. It said bubble. That could be a model for other countries hoping to open up safe business travel. The facilities are not luxurious, but they are comfortable enough and provide the necessary amenities for a short work trip. Ideally, you would like to have people free to move around do what they want to do, and spend where they want to. Temasek's senior managing director, Alan Thompson, said at a media briefing in December, but he added, Connected Changi is a good alternative option as the world works to eradicate the virus. Yeah, I was gonna go through some other articles, but this took way longer than I was expecting. So we'll just wrap it up with this one article, which is just ridiculous, and you could probably spend a whole lot more time on it, like looking up this company and all that stuff, but I have other things to do today, so I'm gonna end it here. Thank you for joining me for my little test screen share app thing that I did on a tablet I've never used before. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, thanks for watching. I'm out.